Now, 7 News breaking new details on the Lower North Fork fire. Families back in the fire zone to see their homes for the first time. This fire is now more than 15% contained. 600 firefighters now working the lines to get this fire under control.
7 News investigating the reverse 911 system. It's supposed to save lives, but it didn't notify everyone it was supposed to. We're getting answers as to what went wrong.
And the weather in the fire zone, a little cooler today, but still a little bit breezy. Meteorologist Matt Makins joins us in less than 2 minutes with the day he's most concerned about for fighting this fire, and he will have the forecast for your neighborhood.
7 News investigating the Lower North Fork fire, looking into what went wrong in the effort to get people to safety.
The reverse notification system meant to save lives failed for some of the residents who needed to evacuate the Lower North Fork fire. We have team coverage as we continue to uncover new information on this. We start with 7 News reporter Marshall Zellinger. Marshall, we should know in about 1 hour which homes never got the call to evacuate?
Yeah, and Jefferson County admitting this afternoon 12% of the people who should have evacuated never received a call or a text. This is a website for the company that provides that service for Jefferson County, and it gives a demonstration as to what's supposed to happen. Someone from the sheriff's office can choose on a map the area that should receive that reverse emergency notification. They can either write it, they can voice it, it then gets sent out numerous ways: voice, text message, email, or social media. And the last step, it does get sent out, and according to the website, it should save lives. We know this system failed somewhere.
88% did receive it in some fashion, either via cell phone or landline at their home. And obviously we're concerned about the other 12%.
Jackie Kelly, spokeswoman for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, admits that while the Lower North Fork fire plume continued to rise, there was a glitch in the reverse notification system. On Monday, Rob Stewart told us he saw flames near his home but was never notified to evacuate.
I actually left free will. I saw people running. I thought I had time.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office promises answers within an hour.
We should have some numbers available at 4 o'clock to tell you actually how many homes were hit, the times they were hit, and what the, it tells you, it breaks it out to who actually picked up their phones, who didn't get the message, and certainly it'll show who didn't even get the call.
On the flip side, we've heard from numerous viewers who live nowhere near the evacuation area that did get that mandatory notice. This on Facebook from a woman in Ken Carroll. She received that reverse 911 call. She found out it was an error after speaking with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Even one of our own producers who lives in Broomfield got this on her phone at 5 o'clock the day of the fire, the mandatory evacuation notice in Jefferson County. She lives in Broomfield. We're still trying to find out why people in Broomfield and far away from the fire got the notice, while some people in the fire's way did not. We expect to get those answers at 4 o'clock. Reporting live, Marshall Zellinger, 7 News.
And that is the briefing that we will bring live to our viewers. Thank you, Marshall.
A cooler day outside, a live look at the blue skies. Less hazy out there, though it is a little more windy. Matt Makins is joining us now. And okay, it's a little windy out there, but I would expect it to be more smoky. It's not.
Not really today, because we had a little system drift overhead earlier today, and that kind of pushed that smoke out. We're going to bring that smoke back now that that system is gone. And for the most part, the winds have calmed down a great deal. Close to the fire, 1 to 7 miles an hour. Occasionally, you're down in some of those valleys, your wind speeds are going to top out closer to 20 miles an hour, but that would be a brief wind gust. And here are those wind gusts. Right now, about 10 miles per hour in Conifer, closer to Highlands Ranch, about 12. But an example of some stronger winds would be Broomfield at 31 miles per hour. So we're still dealing with some of those leftover wind gusts, but we'll be calmer tonight. And tomorrow, for the most part, looks okay. However, we're still going to be bone dry for the rest of this month on into the end of the weekend. 16% relative humidity in Conifer. To put it into perspective, anything below 35% is fire critical, and we've been below 35% the last several days. Problem is also that we just haven't had any moisture in March, as you know. I went back and found a weather station very close to the fire. 95 inches of snowfall for the season, which sounds awesome, but in the past month, only 1 inch of snowfall and no rain to speak of. Mike mentioned some rain yesterday. Well, I'll update you on that system. It's still there. We'll talk about the chance of it actually helping the fire threat or not at all in a few minutes.
It sure would be welcome. Thank you, Matt.
New at 3, families out of their homes for days just allowed back in within the past 2 hours. 7 News reporter Russell Haythorne went along as families finally went home. And Russell, the emotions, they run the gamut from relief to frustration, I imagine.
And that's because not everyone gets to go home, but for those who do, it was an emotional afternoon for those families, learning they could return home after spending nearly 72 hours as evacuees. We were there as the Sheriff's Department escorted dozens of families back to their homes for the first time since Monday. A caravan of vehicles down Pleasant Park Road and then up Kester Road. Most of these families are ecstatic about going home, but there are certainly mixed emotions. There's still a great deal of anger about how this all started and just who should be held accountable.
Because I love it. And I love my life, and this means that I'm going to have my life. I think they should have stayed with that fire a little while longer and made absolutely sure the fire was out. It didn't happen, and I think they should learn from this, and if they ever do it again, they need to be responsible for it and take care of the people that that lost their homes.
So there you go. Now the central question for many in this community becomes, what will the state do to compensate those families who lost so much in this fire? We talked to several residents who adamantly believe the state was negligent in starting this fire from the very beginning, this controlled burn rather, from the very beginning. Coming up at 5, what one man says the governor told him about the state's responsibility from here moving forward. For now, we're live in Jefferson County. Russell Haythorne, 7 News.
All right, looking forward to that. Thank you, Russell.
You've seen them dropping those buckets of water on the fire, and today we rode along with the Colorado National Guard crews in those helicopters fighting the lower North Fork fire. 4 Black Hawk helicopters making water dumps, each bucket carrying 500 gallons of water. The battalion chief showed us how the buckets work.
They'll pick the bucket up. It's a wire. You can see the harness there. It goes through the clevis into the crew. Both the crew chief and the crew up front has the ability to open the bottom of the bucket to actually dump the water.
They can make 20 to 30 dumps in a 3-hour period.
Governor John Hickenlooper takes his first look at the damage of the lower North Fork fire. The governor jumping on a helicopter here for an aerial tour of the burn zone. Media was not allowed on this tour. He says there will be a full investigation into the cause of the fire, but he says don't jump to conclusions.
I think the problem often is that you rush to judgment when something tragic occurs. People make decisions sometimes too quickly.
The governor also meeting with the families who have been out of their homes for days now. He says they have lots of questions about how this happened.
The search expanding today for a woman who was last seen on Monday when that fire exploded up in the mountains. At least 34 people and 6 dogs are searching more than 60 homes, 60 acres, I should say, around her home. And new details now about the couple killed in that fire. Firefighters found the bodies of 77-year-old Sam Lucas and 76-year-old Linda Montia Lucas at their burned-out home on Tuesday. And 7 News reporter Lance Hernandez is live at the couple's church. Lance, the pastor's telling you that couple was devoted to their faith.
Mike, he says they were very devoted. The pastor here at Red Rocks Fellowship told me that if there was anything that ever needed to be done here at the church, the Lucases would do it. He called their death a great loss.
Manita was just a very outgoing person. She never met a person that wasn't her friend. Sam, same thing. Very good leader. He chaired the church. He taught Sunday school faithfully.
Pastor Jack McCullough says the Lucases were selfless people, very compassionate. He says they retired to their dream home in the foothills near Conifer in 1995. On Monday, they called their church just as the fire broke out.
Sam actually called and said, please pray for the situation. We have what we call a prayer chain here and let people know. And that was the last we heard.
Now, McCullough says there's every indication that the couple, who, by the way, had been married for 55 or 56 years, had been packing away their belongings, getting ready to leave, and were ready to evacuate. He still doesn't know why they didn't get out in time. He says remaining family members are strong. The Lucases had a son, a married son, and a married daughter, 5 grandchildren altogether. He says those family members are planning the memorial service, which will be held at 1 p.m. tomorrow at Southern Gables Church. In Jefferson County, Lance Hernandez, 7 News.
All right, Lance, thank you. Stay with 7 News and thedenverchannel.com. We will continue to follow all developments in the lower North Fork.